Hello everyone, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. Hooray! We did some science last time, and we're going to do some more science this time. And while the Roy Klein has been a... It was Roy Klein, right? Or was it Ray Klein? Roy Klein. Roy Klein has been a pretty good series of rockets thus far. Let's load up the last one and take a look at it. You know, it's been pretty good. Not very extravagant, but it's been pretty much what we needed to learn more about the way rocketing works. Well, we have some girder segments we've never actually used yet. Now, we don't have any aerodynamics. We just have a small selection of stuff still. So honestly, there's not too much more we can do right now other than send this thing up again and collect more data. Though I do want to exchange this piece with another one of these so we can go a little bit higher. And we're going to add to the sides out here some solid fuel boosters. There we go. So, the Roy Klein Mark III. So pretty much our Roy Klein model is basically our initial scientific data gathering rockets. Not really meant to do much, but is able to do just enough to get us some information. So, save that and launch it. Eventually I'm going to have to go through and delete all these old Roy Kleins. So let's get all the prep work done. And blast off. And we're gonna actually gather some information while we can. It's gonna use up some battery life, but that'll be fine because we do have rocket power now to recharge our batteries as much as we can. And let's get a crew report. We'll send that data as well. Data. And who knows, we might even make it to the outer atmosphere this time around. It's not entirely likely, but we are in the lighter atmosphere right now. Let's observe the mystery goo again. Seems to be getting very cold now. That's new. So we will transmit that. And oops, I seem to have deployed my parachute. Well, that's alright, because we have time. We will transmit that data. Observe the mystery goo once more. And since we don't really have very much electric charge anymore, we will just keep the data this time. Seems we are very much in space right now. The sky seems to be mostly below us. Well, we'll have to keep that data. And we are indeed in space. We are pretty high up actually. A lot higher than I thought I was going to get. Let's switch over to the map view and take a look at it. Holy cow, we actually went very high. Yeah, I quite possibly could have achieved orbit if I really tried to with that rocket design. That is kind of surprising to me. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here to gain scientific data. Jebediah is the farthest from planet any Kerbin has ever been before. Or should I say any Kerman has been before, since everyone is named Kerman in the program. Still, this is going to be quite a while, so we'll actually speed up time a little bit for the sake of video. And back into the atmosphere. So this is going to be quite a while before we actually touch down again. And over there, I believe, is where the Space Center is at, if I am not entirely mistaken. It's very well I could be mistaken. Oh hey, we got some re-entry effects. And there goes the parachute, which really would probably be destroyed by this point. I should do this again to get some re-entry data. This is going to be a little bit of a rough landing. Ideally, you land in the ocean. Although I don't know if that's necessarily true. From what I've heard, landing in the ocean and landing on ground is about the same when you're going fast enough. Still, when you're parachuting, ocean's probably better. Ooh, we got some weird texture glitch with the parachute strings here. It's pretty odd. That could have landed better. Well, let's recover the vessel. Yeah, I learned that you can actually recover the vessel from there and keep the data. That's a crew report while in space near Kerbin, and recovery of a vessel after suborbital flight. Do we not get to keep the goo data? Is that still out there? Yeah, it could be still out there. We do have some debris. So cover that debris. There we go. See, I couldn't recover it initially because it fell off. I'm glad I can actually recover the debris. Very thankful. So, we should have an abundance of data right now. 37, pretty good. So we can learn more about parts and actually landing the things, which isn't really that expensive to do, so we'll do that. Let's see. The new stuff is flight control, so we could start some, well, spaceplane-like designs. Then there is science tech, which actually is probably going to be the best thing to go for because we can bring along extra energy. And science junior thing, that's new. And it looks like a new communication system. Alright. Or I could spend a little bit more science right now and get some detachment parts. I think I will go with the stability stuff. There we go. Alright, so this will probably end the Roy Klein designs, as we are now a little bit more advanced in what we can make. Let's see. Random name generator. You know what? I think I will go with a random elf name. Let's see. Glimbin. This thing actually has a meaning to it. Gleam / glint, like in one's eye. Huh. Okay. So, the Glimbin, which is kind of a fitting name. After all, the idea of colonizing space is pretty much just a glint in one's eye as is. Okay, so we got some pretty good stuff to use now. I like that. Alright, so we'll go with the basic command pod. Let's see, we have this nose cone, but it's a little bit comically large, so I think we're gonna keep going with the standard parachute. And the Communitron. Stick that out like usual. But now we actually have more things to use. And you know, I'm actually going to take that scientific goo, and we're going to attach it directly to the command pod instead. So that way it won't fall off again. Let's see now. Not very much else for building options still, so we will just take a standard fuel tank. And we'll actually take this for the engine. Something a little bit different than last time. Let's see then, structural decoupler. More fuel tanks. The liquid fuel engine. And we'll actually use these radial decouplers to attach our solid fuel boosters. Something like that should work. Let's see, what else can we have? Oh yes, our winglets. We will attach the winglets here, and that will give us some more stability when we're flying. Now let's combine that command, and these ones will stay separate. Alright, save the design, and launch again. This time I think we'll actually try for an orbit. We could have had an orbit last time, but this time we'll actually be trying for it. And I think you still need to go on the 90-degree mark to get an orbit, so... Here we go. And let's not forget to gather as much data as we can. I am going the wrong way slightly. Oh boy. Fine-tune controls, I believe. That'll help. There we go. That's a little bit better. We don't really have much control over things still. Let's go more along this line to about there. And let's take a look. Oops! I hit the completely wrong button. I accidentally bumped space. Well, this is awkward. Jeb's happy. I guess that's all that matters. So, we're getting close to being in space again. See, our apoapsis is currently near 80,000. That's a pretty good amount. Let's observe the mystery goo. It's probably going to be cold, but since we are not really using any energy right now, it would be foolish, or generating energy right now, it would be foolish to try transmitting the data. All right, let's try moving ourselves around. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit late for this burn, but that's alright. I'm actually using up energy? That doesn't sound right. Let's get our crew report. Transmit that data. And we actually are using more energy than we were generating with this engine. That's a little sad. And we're not really going to get in orbit this time around. Which is also a little bit sad, but then again, who honestly cares? After all, we don't really have any way of getting back down if we use our fuel and are stuck in an orbit, so... Still... we actually have a sort of orbit. Impressive! And we now have the slightly disorienting view, which always happens when you achieve an orbit of any degree. And I think that what we will do is head around to the apoapsis, where we will then set ourselves up to deorbit. Actually, we'll go a little bit after the apoapsis. So I want to try to get near the Kerbal center. Let's go about there. Oop, oop. Slow down. There we go. Estimated burn about 6 seconds. That's actually pretty good. go ahead and get closer to that waypoint. I wonder if we'll get a different report on the dark side. No, nope, we won't. Let's discard that data. Be careful not to overshoot our mark. That would be not catastrophic, but it'd just mean we'd take more time to actually get back down to the planet. Hello, sun. Actually, one thing I want to view is... it's not a very exciting place to be in here. It's cramped and you don't get much of a view. But what can you expect with the basic command module? Alright. Let's start our deorbit burn. There we go. And I do like how the orange fades away slowly. We're probably not going to land anywhere near the Kerbal Space Center, but I tried. And we have lost our music now. Well, let's discard that data. We're going to actually get some information when we start re-entering. When we see the actual burn. You know, I really just ought to speed that along, our re-entry. Because it doesn't matter where on the planet we land. Still, it just feels more right to let it glide in slowly for the first time. Although slowly is a little bit of a perspective kind of thing. Yeah, it looks like we're going slow, but really we're traveling 2.3 thousand meters per second. Which I don't exactly know how fast that is in terms of hours. Actually, if we were to look at it, it'd be more like 2.5 kilometers per second if you round it. So, if you multiply that by 60, 120 kilometers, not 120. You know, let's just round it out to 2. It'd be 120 kilometers a minute, which translates times 60, I think. I don't really know. You know, I'm not going to bother this math. I don't know what I'm talking about, so it'd be a pretty stupid thing for me to try telling you anything about it. Nope, we're going to be getting close to that re-entry stuff. I believe it's somewhere near 30,000. Let's observe the mystery goo on re-entry. nothing yet. Now let's observe it. Yeah, we'll keep that data. Crew report. Keep the data. That's why I'm burning the engine. I'm just doing that so we start to slow down more. Forget it. Yeah, it's actually possible we'll land pretty close to the ocean on this side of... No, wait. No, it's not. Because we're going to be landing just off this coast, most likely. Well, let's abandon that section then, as it provides no further use to us. Deploy the chute. Goodbye, thing that's going to explode in just a few moments. It's actually taking quite a while. But then again, we are a few thousand meters in the air. If anything, that should be halfway down. Any second now, it'll go boom. There's the boom. Actually, I do kind of like how we landed in basically a desert. It's a very good indication that there's probably no one around. So we will just gently land. We'll be able to recover the vessel and collect all the data again. After this flight, I don't know what we should try for next. We do have landing legs, so we could potentially land on another target, but we lack the battery life. So I'm thinking getting the batteries is probably going to be the best thing to shoot for before we go to the moon. And slowly we come to our landing. Yeah, we have a weird texture glitch on the one side of the parachute here. There we go, and recover the vessel. Let's see, science gathered from Kerbin Orbit. That's a new one that we haven't got before, so success. Observation from upper atmosphere and crew report from upper atmosphere. I like the way that this is going. It's pretty awesome. And we don't have nearly enough science to get that stuff, as much as I'd want to. We could get these liquid fuel engines, which I believe these ones have more gimbal, which means you can... Well, actually, let's compare them. Basic ones do not have a vector range. These ones do have a vectoring range. It's the vectoring range that lets you actually tilt easier when you're taking off, so you can get into an orbit. Well, I think this has been good for an episode. I will do a couple more launches myself to get us some more science to get the batteries. And I will rejoin you after that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and fave. I will see you next time. Take care, and goodbye.